Sometimes you need to pause, a pause to listen to yourself. Let us not change our whole life in a day, but rather one step in a time. Welcome. Let's start from within. Hello, my dear Nelida Ileri. How do you pronounce your last name?
Larry, which means straightforward.
Opa, let's keep it straightforward. So many years ago, actually before I established the method of Jungian coaching, I used to work very intensively in Istanbul. And among my many activities with expressive therapy and so on, I gave Jungian seminars. And then started the features, the idea of Jungian coaching. You were one of my students in expressive therapy, but I remember that you helped me to start promoting the Jungian coaching. And who are you? What have you been doing? And how come you're sitting now living in a boat in Norway?
I was born and raised in Bulgaria and lived in Turkey after my 10 years old. So I studied in Turkey. I worked in Turkey as an HR professional for almost 20 years. And our roles have crossed when I was working as a learning manager in an automotive company. And I was very lucky to be able to join to your art therapy sessions and Jungian coaching that has started at that time.
Nelida, listen, it's been many years, but I look how the brain works. Somehow I remember the name Tofaş, which is the Fiat.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It is the Italian Fiat produced in Turkey, and you were the HR of Tofaş or something.
And the learning, I was responsible for trainings.
Yes.
And I was so lucky that they have sent me to art therapy training at that time, which was, I think, a very visionary idea. And I could elaborate mostly on myself and also learning the Jungian coaching. From you, I was looking ways to adapt this to the organization at that time.
Nelida, from perspective, through the years, what did you get actually from expressive art therapy combined with Jungian coaching? And I know that you attended the first module now with the 17th generation to refresh yourself. So bring a little bit also of your personal experience from now reflecting to the past.
There has been a lot of changes. I think, Avi, my transformation journey started with you. So I'm very grateful to have you in my life. And back at that time, I remember I was very shy and very conservative and was not really connected with my feelings. And after experiencing expressive art therapy, my life has completely changed. I went from one side to the other side, actually, where I was really for a while very expressive and like all the anger and all the suppression I was holding just went out. And it was a chaotic time, I would say, but I was feeling much more liberated at that time.
So at Quest, you acquired many other professions, right? You're not only an HR through your transformational quest, or let's call it individuation quest. I know that you did yoga and you lived in Antalya and share a bit. Don't be shy.
Okay. Yoga also started, I think, during that expressive art therapy and yoga time, Jungian coaching time, which was approximately 15 years ago. So then I started to realize that there is much more like work that is attracting me to do besides my professional career. So I became a yoga instructor. I became also a Gestalt coach and also try to adopt Jungian coaching and art therapy in my personal life and in my yoga sessions and my coaching sessions at that time. So, I started. I was living in Istanbul for 15 years, but then due to some other job opportunities, I slowly started to move to the west side of Turkey in 2017, where I remember you were in my farewell. So I think that was a very special moment where I think I started my journey. And since then, I was moving from one place to another. I lived in Izmir, in the west side of Turkey for a while, and then I moved to the south part of Turkey during the pandemic time. And I was working remotely, having the best times of my life, like dancing, having parties, amazing communities around me, meeting with many foreign people, and had some sort of a switch towards how I can really uh, continue my life. Like, do I really need to stay in a professional setting, or are there any other options available for me? So then I have decided to give some sort of a break to my professional career, and I started seeking for jobs abroad as a yoga instructor. And it's very interesting because I found a job in Norway in a city called Stavanger that I have never even heard
Hold on a
about
second,
before.
because here starts a mini heroine quest of individuation, and I want to use this opportunity that I'm discussing and talking with you. You know that we will have this conference in October in Lisbon, and I invited you to give a workshop under the title A Story for Heroine, where you will do whatever you know to do very professionally. But I want to tell you, let's make a little experiment. I will tell you the stages of the heroine according to the new coaching tool that we have invented through the AI, and pin out where do you feel in the story you are locating yourself, okay? So actually it starts from separating from the matriarch, from the mother. And because your mother is Turkish or Bulgarian?
She's Turkish, but we have been living for generations in Bulgaria.
In Bulgaria. So it's very interesting what kind of mother-daughter rahim you had, uterus you had, and how you separated for this. And then I guess if you did academic studies, you identified a lot with the masculine principle, which brought you to university and to work in corporate and so on. And then I think you started what we call the suffering way. You know that women are not easily liberated because they have to do two hero quests, one to separate from the mother and then to separate from the animus, from the masculine father, for the patriarch, and then develop their own animus, and then balance, as usually it's always about balancing. So there is an illusion of success when you are totally captured by the masculine principle. I think that this is where you felt you don't want anymore to deal with corporate. You need to release yourself. And strong women can say no. So you said something to no, and then you moved out. But you felt into the abyss. You know, in Yanina, the Babylonian goddess, and Persephone, a Kori that goes down to hell. You got stuck with there in Norway, and you will tell us how you got stuck there in hell, and how you rediscovered your femininity anew, and how did you find the internal new animus that was reflected in the circus with this guy, that I find it fascinating. And then you arrive to integration of both sides. So I gave the outline for your story, and now pandemic of corona comes into the picture. You are down there in Antalya. You told me that you're looking for a job. I lost you at that time. We were not in contact on those years. You did your own quest, and I'm eager to hear your story.
Yeah. When I was in the south part of Turkey, in Antalya, I really was actually more connected with my feminine side, swimming every day, spending time in the nature, dancing and doing yoga. In the meantime, having so many connections around me and community, which was mostly coming from abroad. So they gave me a huge perspective towards what else is possible in life. Like I met with a guy who was like breaking rocks. That was his job. And I was like, okay, there are some other options in life. So this kind of like triggered me, and I felt like, okay, I'm having my best time of my life, but this takes me away from what I wanted to do
This means
in life,
there
really.
is a drive here to move from comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. Because after a while, I forgot my purpose in life and what was I contributing and what was I meant to do. And I always had that deep, profound, like self, which was calling me in different ways. So I couldn't say no to that anymore. And then I decided to take some break and see what are my possibilities. And it's very interesting because I was looking for a job on Facebook, Avi, and I found a group called Yoga Jobs Abroad, and actually that's the way how I found this yoga studio in Stavanger, like out of nowhere. When I told this to people, they were like, seriously, Nelida, like, are you sure this is not a fake or it's something like, how are you eager to go?
Stand fine. Massage and yoga somewhere in Stavanger.
Yeah, exactly. So people were like really worried about me, and I was like, okay, but what would be the worst scenario? I can always come back. So that somehow gave me courage, and I listened to my intuition because I was feeling that something is calling for me, and
So-
I was deeply feeling that.
You are seated in an airplane and you fly where to?
First to Oslo, and then I took an internal flight and fly to the west side of Norway, to the place called Stavanger. And then I started working in that yoga studio. I met with the owner, and like for a while, for 2-3 days, everything was going well. But then I realized that she wanted me to do some extra jobs, like cleaning the yoga studio, and distributing flyers,
Have you
and
seen
like
the
giving.
movie Memories of a Geisha?
No.
You have to see and read The Memory of a Geisha. This is another story about the evil side of the feminine principle. She was a bitch, wasn't she?
She was.
She was.
He was a bitch because yeah, we couldn't get along, and that is okay. You The thing is, of course, me coming from a corporate background, and of course I immediately started for like looking for another job, and I found a job in a traveling amusement park. So then with this courage, I went back to her and provided her some feedback, saying like, look, you're a bitch and I'm not working for you anymore, so you did this to me. And then she somehow convinced me to stay for 2 more days in that studio. But then, in the middle of the night, I never forget this, like 9:30, I'm out of nowhere staying in her apartment that she provided as a part of the yoga job.
Yeah.
She came with her husband and kicked me out from the apartment, staying
Really,
and
like
waiting
very
for
good.
me.
So you become Cinderella. What did you do that night?
I already did my plan, like thanks to my animals. I called a friend and I said, like, I'm gonna stay with you for a while. Like, can you come and pick me up? And she even took my SIM cards. So luckily my friend was there and we could go without any friction. But I
There is
probably never
you
remember.
tell me about a very devastating moment, and now you tell it with a laughter and smile. How do you explain this alchemical change, really, from devastating moment to be able to look at the light and not at the dark side of the story here at this particular moment?
That particular moment, it was really hard and I felt very humiliated, you know. But looking back, I could realize that she's the reason why I am Stavanger, and my journey has started after that
That
moment.
was a reframing. Bravo. Wow. That's interesting.
I could see like how small she made me feel, and that is the shadow part of me that I have worked yesterday. But then this has turned out to something
So,
magical.
yeah, this magical, as you told me, is a road of trial. Can you share with me what was the road of trial there? What?
Yeah, the road of trial was I didn't have any other options, so I took that job opportunity in a traveling amusement park as a HR manager,
Can you
where I
define what
started.
traveling amusement park? What seems to be
Yeah,
very obvious for you, I don't think that our listeners understand.
yeah, it is in Norway. It's called Tivoli, and it's actually like Luna parks.
Yes.
So we have carousels and we built them in one place and we stay there for 1 week mostly, operate all these carousels, and then we pack everything, put them in trucks, and then move to another city.
And the
And
people
then
in this band, in this group, they are Norwegian. Who are they?
there are people from all over the world. I would say we were 30 people from 11 different nationalities, from Nepal, from Philippines, from Mongolia, from Finland. So
And
there
what
are
was your
from
job?
Sweden.
What was your job? Did you walk on a rope?
No, it was not a circus, so I didn't have the opportunity to walk on the rope, but I was helping on recruiting people and then training them and making sure that they are operating in a proper way and conducting some also on the job trainings, such as, to give an example, like there was a carousel called Jump, and there is a, for example, some people, because of their weight, they are not able to use that carousel. And then our people were telling that, oh, you are too big or you are too fat. And then the client is frustrated and
Yes.
comes back to us. And
So what?
so I was training them to how to say it in a polite way and in an also safe way. Or also, so many things. I was also helping with packing, unpacking, and
Did you love this job?
I love that job.
In the Hero Quest, when you fall in love in the job, you fall in love personally. So, how come a man entered your life? If you want to explain a bit.
At that time, actually, it was only job, I would say, for 6 7 months, and then the season finished. So I actually left the amusement park and came back to Stavanger because I had a very good opportunity in a technology company where I got a role as a change manager,
Ah,
which is, I think, very interesting. And then after that, actually, my man came to my life, I
so
would say.
it seems that it's a whole circle, and you are back nowadays in corporate life. And how big is the corporate? What is your job? What do you do?
Company is around 700,000 people in the world. And I'm working, it's very interesting what I'm doing, Avi. I'm helping organizations through change. Like, for example, there is a big cultural change initiatives, like they want to change their leadership principles, or they want to change the culture within the organization, or there is a digital transformation coming, so they want to adopt that digital transformation. So this change can be anything, but what I'm doing is I think it's very relevant with Jungian principles, because I identify who is going to change, and then I start to create personas. And then I curate change journeys for each persona, for each impacted group, to help them adopt new ways of working.
Very creative.
Very
Extremely
creative
Do you have
and
also?
very human based, I would say.
Yeah. And tell me, are you challenged also with artificial intelligence?
Yes, because we are a technology company, we are trying to adopt every type of AI tools within this transformation, and we are using them a lot. So, yeah, this is a big part of my job.
Nelida, are you not lonely
Right now,
in your life?
I have my partner, and he's Norwegian, and we have been together more than 3 years, I would say.
Oh,
And yeah, again, it was not a fairy tale, of course. Like we had our challenges and we are still having our challenges, but I think he's a great mirror showing me every day on a daily basis, like what I still need to integrate within my shadow. So
what is this boat? Why did you choose to live on a boat?
we were living in an apartment, but then my partner decided to buy a boat and he was planning to travel for a while, but then the plans have changed and then I also moved into the boat and for now I think we are again on the edge of another transformation. So I think this boat is a great container for that transformation and it feels safe in a way being here with him and awaiting for our new journey, which we'll probably call upon soon.
How was the weekend that you refreshed yourself with the Jungian coaching first module?
Okay, that was
It's
amazing, and I
totally
would love.
different. It's totally different to the one that you acquired years ago.
First of all, I'm deeply touched, and I'm really surprised how that's like Jung is always, I think, difficult to understand, and applying Jungian coaching throughout tools for me that was amazing. I mean, you you don't even have to know Jung that in a that deep level to be able to be a Jungian coach. And for me, that was the most surprising part because I had a bias. Honestly, that when we first like were doing the Jungian coaching like 15 years ago, I was thinking like, okay, but
You need to be a
no way this
psychologist.
can turn out to something concrete, and how am I going to apply this? So these were the questions in my mind. But like in 3 4 days, seeing actually how practical it is, especially the archetype and the cards that you have developed are just amazing. Like every tool is working immediately, like in 45 minutes coming out with such a concrete outcome for me and such a deep insight for me was mind blowing. And now you put the seeds, Avisan. Now I have to continue in the other modules as well because I already fell in love with Jungian coaching and I'm looking forward to apply.
We don't necessarily need to speak about the practical side, but if that's what you want, you have to, because we have developed through the years many tools that you don't know. We have the alchemy cards for change that are impressive. We have persona prisma that you can work in your corporate and really do it with. We have 24 archetypes of leadership. Really join us. You can discuss it. Really, it's amazing.
I can see, and I'm really looking forward for the also the Heroine quest that is upcoming,
Yes,
new
yes,
tool, I
yes,
guess.
yes.
So could you tell me a little bit like what is coming next?
In about the heroine tool that is new. It's a tool that invites career ladies and men, both men who want to develop their anima and career ladies that are possessed by the animus to rebalance themselves. And actually, the idea is that the coachee is connecting the dilemma that they come for coaching by clicking a button that shows categories of challenges. And there is a sentence that describes the challenge. The moment you pressed, appears a goddess, a Greek goddess that is representing the opposite potential of the current person. For example, let's say that you are overpossessed by your animus, you will see Aphrodite coming and she is coming out from a gate and saying, I'm Aphrodite and I represent this and that. Would you like to dialogue with me? And if you say yes, start a dialogue. And this is amazing because you are on the one side and Aphrodite is on the other side. And finally, this leads you to an insight, and the insight is translated into a program of shaping your behavior to expand the behavior towards your inferiorities. It's a very beautiful card because I find that the graphics of artificial intelligence really contribute a lot to the aesthetics of the cards. Yeah.
Amazing. And launching this while you're in Greece, do
We
you
will
think
be
it's
launching it in Portugal in our annual. We launch a set of cards every conference, and the previous conference was in Athens. We launched the alchemy cards, and the next one will be in Lisbon, and we will launch the Heroine archetypal AI application. Yeah.
sounds really exciting? And I think, by the way, the retreat place is also very special.
Yeah.
With in Lisbon,
How do you
in
know?
Sintra. I've been there.
So tell us about it. Maybe we will use this slot for marketing, because Nuria, she is the manager of the Jungian Coaching School in Portugal for Portuguese language. She found this place and she said, "This is where we have to do our next conference." So
I think this castle is like Sintra is a very special place, and the castle in Sintra is so deep, so profound, and like I think it's amazing place to really launch the heroine quest, because it feels like in the previous fairy tales, like having the princess in the castle, somehow like stuck there, and then someone comes and uh, helps her with like her journey. I think it's gonna make a like big difference when we are launching this in a different.
forward to that. Tell me, dear, what else do I have to know that you didn't tell me so far before we say goodbye?
I think, Avi, like 15 years ago, I have gotten so many insights from you. I've learned a lot about myself, and I know that like, and you are like a father to many of the students. You have always been very special for me.
Well, yeah.
I remember that you were telling me how I should, for example, set boundaries. Like you were forcing me to go to martial arts, for example. And another insight, for example, was, Nelida, you have to live somewhere else. You have never been abroad. And in one session, I remember that you directly tell me that, Nelida, you need a partner or a husband who should be way bigger than you and a foreigner. So looking back, I think like at that time, of course, it was challenging to understand why are you telling me those things, and I had a huge resistance. But day by day, or like throughout my journey, when I look back, I have did everything that you told me, and it feels like yeah, you are such a big you played such a big role in my hearing quest, and I'm really super excited to see where this quest is going to go. And it's so special for me to reunite in after 15 years. And
Let's continue and be in touch. We know that we will meet in Sintra, and I will make sure that you continue now to refresh your Jungian studies so you can apply your Jungian coaching back in corporate life.
or in personal life, who knows? And now what I don't know,
You read
now
my mind.
what I
You read
know,
my mind. You read my mind.
I think my unconscious knows better already, of course, where I'm going. So I think already the steps are there, and let's see where this journey is gonna take me. I'm open to the unknown.
Thank you for coming all the way down from Norway to Greece to meet with me, and thanks for stepping on my professional role, Nelida.
Thank you, Avi. I love you so much, and looking
Pleasure,
forward to
pleasure.
see you in person.
Very flowing. Thank you so much. I hug you.
Likewise.
Have a
See you
nice
soon.
day, evening, whatever.
Mhm.
Bye.
You too. Bye.